太久没玩了，有点忘记怎么玩。啊！天哪，直接从一半开始，完蛋，完全不记得这个故事内容。好像是这个人的爸爸死掉了，我就要那个找线索，破案。
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just...
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. For I'm also studying...
You're following in your father's footsteps, then that is
Watson?
commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been...
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never lived. But now, after his death, I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed. That is most interesting.
Indeed?
He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
寻找被偷的植物，杀死蒙太古登的植物。员工楼收取蒙太古登的信息。蒙太古登的凶手。最终是房间有玛格丽特小姐。钥匙。这个人讲过
What
话了
should we do next, Holmes?
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room. Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
A task list for Albert compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the farmhouse, scrub the toilets.
那就把它当杂工呗。这音效让我很紧张。就这样，有什么可以调查的？
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
我应该去另外一个方向。哦，我已经忘记我去过哪些地方了。
我睡觉了啊。
你要睡觉了？
对啊。
你现在睡的话，你是晚上要起来。
好像2、3点到现在。
凌晨哦。
对啊。
What is your opinion of Albert as
那
a
你昨天不
student
是
of
很早要
botany?
睡了吗？
Useless.
你2、3点
I
就
often
爬起来
told
了。
so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks.
是哦。
Botany is not his
好吧，
life's
那你去
work,
睡吧。
and his father well knew it. He was furious
好
about
的。
He was.
爸爸
it. Oh
爸。
yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
Mr.
That
Holmes
must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish.
蒙太古邓恩是他爸是吗？看一下哦。哦，对。OK。
What should we do next, Holmes?
靠，我现在哪？这里是大门口。大门口。是这里吗？这样。热带市、睡莲市、指明地储藏室、仓库、苗圃、办公室。我是要去实验室一下。种植室、干燥室、通风系统。办公室。啥都没有。哇！哦，不会是刚才是22吧？好。真是对称的。老地方见。
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
汉密尔顿来地牌奢侈品珠宝，啥？什么关系啊？他们？
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
上面写啥？
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
植物都市杀害。
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine, a remarkable vintage.
"就这样，房间没东西了。看起来是没有。
What should we do next, Holmes?
确认一下哦。办公室，我刚从这里出来。
Locked. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this.
Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious...
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
这样拿去来放。
I don't hear anything.
啊？
I don't hear anything.
Oh.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
需要证据。哦。
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the...
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a...
他叫我的狗来了是吗？带上托比。
a botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert. Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
你是侦探呢。看一下哦。看一下有些啥。这里有一个，然后上面有一个，没有什么可以对照的。就先这样吧。对不到。哎，这里才可以对到。嗯， 不到哎。这也可以对到。哎，哦，哦，观察一下。嗯。这边怎么连啊？没得连啊！哦，白痴啊，可以。对啊，可以左右移动的是这个跟。哦，原来是这样。好的。哎。
Open. Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might...
Do they grow dangerous plants?
没有了吗？没有啊，表示还没调查完。
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing. The employee's cloakroom. Miss White's locker. These jewels must be... A vanity purse. It is of high...
这侦探可以这样吗？哈尔伯特。
Apparently, Miss White is a capable... A draft of the letter that Miss White...
我要去查一下1889年6月14日。
Martin Hamish's locker. Father and I, Kew Gardens. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces.
外来植物。
Martin Hamish studied... Albert's locker. Young Albert, standing with a woman in front of... specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
皇家海军学院，愿意进入皇家植物学院。他就不想什么植物哦。需要证据，需要什么证据呢？就回家找托比好了。
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
那我先查一下资料。1889年6月14日。
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one.
哦，不是，
That is not
然后还不能退出。哦，不是，为什么会变成直接退出游戏啊？哦，1889年。
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Here it is. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
这要跟阿尔伯特对话，这要跟马丁对话。有个雕像，找雕像。
My analysis table. It is useful for my work. A map of London and the surrounding area.
Toby.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. Search, Toby. Search.
好可爱。啊，人有跟着，哦有，华生有跟着，福尔摩斯没看到，好吧，算了。没了，没了。
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a
只要拿回去我的实验室啊。
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest
Double
botanist of
ten.
his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work. For Dunn...
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your...
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue.
Just be careful.
中史房见见玛格丽特小姐，我去找一下玛格丽特。中史房在右上角吗？这个，我先经过苗圃。
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's...
Colonial Collection. Nursery.
就
Director's
只是念一
office,
下嘛。
cloakroom, and laboratory. Reserve. Palm house. Water lily greenhouse. Dry. Seed.
Seed
Ventilation
house.
system.
Oh, you are here. Okay.
Nursery.
华生，你挡住我了。
Seed house. Open.
Open.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir, and good day to you too. But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This
Dr.
is
John
my good
Watson.
friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Garden.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most...
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might...
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see.
How well did...
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had...
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
我平视这个字。完了，找不到最后一个。
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens. Someone is lying. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Materials for college study. They belong... A book about ships. These leather gloves are new and of good... This place serves as Albert's office. There is a smell of burning. Directors heart water net vent drop
下去看一下通风系统，能进去吗？可以。
a water tank. A ventilation system. It should regulate. A ventilation system.
关注对象。
This symbol is from the Divine Syndicate. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it... The remains of a picture. A broom handle. A door handle? Why would anyone... The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door
这
handle
个
to the
殖民
colonial
地储藏室
collection
的门
and
把
that of the
手和壁
fireplace
炉的那
are
个
made
似
of
乎
the
是
same
同一
material.
种材料。
The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not.
所以我现在要对话跟查找。我去找一下阿伯特。
Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. According to this, they have light and... According to this,
人呢？哦，没事。
I perceive that you are passionate about the royal...
Passionate? No, not really.
Are you quite sure? You do not...
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father, he did his best to ruin my plans. Although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again.
查一下资料。对方应该要去找圣地，圣心底家对话。先回家一趟好了。
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
最好是直接喝了。
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway,
So, what do you think it is?
it is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are.
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the
跟他
bottle
设
that
计。
you passed.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any... I need to take a pipette. Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and this mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory. Here it is.
树王。
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Master.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
Shh.
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism. Therefore, please, my gravitropism, its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I shall. I am
神秘之旅。
the Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
哎呀哎！
We should like to take a look around.
It is a school
Sure.
of anastomosis. The divine, you may say, the divine syndicate. Glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees. And to be permitted.
We visited Kew Gardens.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely Green Grand Mystic.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la! Good, I like you. Here is the holy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
so
tell you to
much.
taste our fertilizer substance from the
But of course.
raw sap. It is called.
入口边上。化学腐蚀、化学营救。
Well, we will leave you to your meditation. The Kew Gardens symbol. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. A fragment of a flower pot.
想敲这个钟。花生呢？哎，花生我不见了。哎，花生怎么还在这？
This green grand...
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Oh,不。
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Oh, 不。
Do you have...
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search. Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago. And we believe the...
No. Those plants were out.
How so?
How so?
Director. Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
以牙还牙的意思是吧？
Well, we will leave you.
Follow my path, and better.
Follow my path. 都还没半个可以连是吗？所有展出的植物包括那些。原意嘞？
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of.
带回去调查。
To is rather delicious. And
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a This green, grand, mystic fellow seems rather
有一个大师，
You came to make a donation? Glory to
this must be Trewan, the
吹
Divine
王，
Syndicate's god.
吹王，两边都有门是不是？嘿，哎，
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
拿走一些，然后全部都拿走，笑死。
A tropical plant. A tropical plant. A tropical plant. A trop. A tropical. A tropical.
雪樱草，
These three plants are identical.
拿走太多东西了吧？笑死。我会做实验是不是？
This door is locked.
哎。
A vast.
哦，我们来自读吧。
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in... Perfect, Watson. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the... That would be enough to...
要回家做实验。别克街旁的圆形广场，回家就是悲伤，因为我的会场。
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
我觉得应该血灵草。
This is a strange... A prickly... A carnivorous plant. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. No reaction. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is open. No reaction.
我觉得就是血灵草了。
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is...
啊，叫我让它开放一点。我去吃别的，看一下。
It appears to open.
啊，我是要趁它尾。
Inactive after being disturbed. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. I am interested in what might occur if the
带刺的
prickly
植物朝
plant
它吐
should
刺。
shoot at it. I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. This plant becomes inactive. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism. I am interested in what might
如果
occur
带刺的
if the
植
prickly
物朝
plant
它
should
吐
shoot at
刺
it.，
带刺的植物朝它吐刺。哦，可以换位置哦。那早说嘛。来，
This plant seems to have had no reaction from the caterpillars. Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
Oh.
The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the
受
right
到刺
moment.
激成个杀
Let us take our caterpillars to the colonial collection room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
看看释放当天的事情。好久，网络是不是不太行？哎，谁走进去里面？
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes, he came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock.
嗯，
Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading
Oh,
for the dry
10
tropics
半
room while
就
Mr.
迟到了
Hamish
吗？
returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the Water Lily.
Thank you, young man. We
嗯，天啊！您在身上当天早上做什么？啊，见过阿尔伯特之后，我和怀特小姐聊了聊，回到办公室做了一些文案工作。突然我发现不太对劲，10点半左右去找阿尔伯特，因为他那天迟到。10点半，好慢哦。大概10点10分，10点10分跟怀特小姐在交谈。10点10分跟怀特交谈。9点半见阿尔伯特。时间不太对呀，先去找那个吧。是没来过这里啊。
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. A thesis written by Martin. A glasses case. This area serves. These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
哦，雕像在这。
It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
好像，哎，头。 我这里缺一块。
I am curious if the marble that we found... Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common. The seeds of plant species are stored here. Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Tuesday as the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Oh, certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
先吸入孢子。一吸入孢子。二逃离房间。生成序列。
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
他不是说在办公室会找到320吗？
Here it is. Cylinder records.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Hmm? 那人呢？人呢？
First of all, I need to visit the colonial collection room to see how those caterpillars
人
dropped
最喜欢
onto the
看见
deadly
某种植物
plants.
掉到致命的植物上。啥呀？
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
These windows were perfectly cleaned. Before starting the engine, I need to enable the power supply. Before starting the engine, the power is on. The engine cannot be started whilst the transmission is active. The engine has started. ventilation system is working. Seed house. Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo.
Yeah.
Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
有机会释放。这里还缺个什么？
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
这苏格兰籍啊！
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha!
Very good.
啊，就这样吗？我没问到那个哎，我也可以问。他迟到，可能就是去布置哦。
Inspector, I came here as quick.
Martin Hamish is in the last. Martin Hamish.
Palm House.
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found
What the-
out that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please?
他是
I
被
should
干
like to
掉的
examine it.
吧？哦，好扯哦，难怪就是这么简单。
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
当场死亡。我觉得他是被干掉的，真假的啊？会吗？肯定没完。他的手。
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of...
畸形组。畸形组。
Holmes, don't look at me like.
畸形组。
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
他们两个人。
No, I don't suppose you do.
伯特。
You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector.
伯特
Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the...
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
关于那早上的经过。OK。 什么意思？哦，9点半，9点40的时候，哈米什和蒙太古离开10分钟之后，正好来到赶到时，哈米什。是
Let
这
us
样吗？
summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him
有人
inside
在10
there
点20的
at
时候把他
10:20.
锁在了里面。
Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time.
可他那边看不到。
Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
错的。在实验室里面，生物酒。啊！救命啊！
This is a table.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
找共犯。好吧，去阿尔伯特了，不管了。我需要讲话吗？我找得到人吗？也找不到。来吧，阿尔伯特有罪。是。因为他有实验记录，他一直待在实验室。
What happened, Inspector?
It's all over now, lad. There is no use denying it. We know that you murdered your father. Patricide by plant poisoning. Very alliterative.
What? You're mad. I didn't do it. I don't know anything about botany. No!
哦不，他说 no。哎呀，怎么办？是吧？还有实验记录，实验记录。不行，我再去看一次实验记录。我再去看一次实验记录。实验记录说的是什么？可是他没有办法证明是当天吧？没有办法证明是当天啊。 走开，走开，华生。
I don't hear anything.
还要重新拿哦。没办法拿哎。哇。我一直待在实验室。不是啊，可是有办法证。哎，我这个对话没有对话到啊。结束吧，结束吧。就当他是真的在实验室吧。
What happened in... What?
哦不，哦不，哦不，哦不，什么意思？这是什么意思？红色是错的。啊！随便了，我就是只能这样了。所以是怀特吗？
Where are you going, Holmes? Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. What to?
哎呦，
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
At dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't...
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street. Menu. Entree. Frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course. Sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes is my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, because I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
But Wiggins,
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the... It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
带去迷人，咕啾啾咕啾啾咕咕咕咕咕。好了，下去了，不要抓，下去。干嘛啦？下去嘞，下去，去。哎呦喂呀！哎呦喂呀！哎呦喂呀！啊！ 痛迷了，不要不要！靠！我真的是错哎，怎么那么烂？不行，那可能是因为，一定是因为我啊，我游戏闪退了，哦不，是怎样？好吧，那就下次再玩好了。先吃饭喽。